Hey, this is Chris at Art Secret Studio. We're in the class and something happened last week, like always, and I messed up again. So I want to talk about it real quick. So let's kind of go over this again. There's a couple things I want to go over. And the first thing is, in this painting, and it's not till the end of the painting, and I think if I go this way and I point here, you can, is this finger on it? Yeah, okay. In this part of the painting, I blocked it in one color and I just got the value right. You know, it was kind of brown, kind of blue, two different colors, and I was done. And I didn't really look at the picture. And as I was looking at the picture close up when the end of the day, I saw, uh-oh. You see, I just felt like keep it light, get the value right, set the no tan, the halftone, get the value the way you want it. Everything's fine. And then I'll go over there with some paint and fix it and really just focus in and do it. And as I looked at it, I noticed, you know, Sargent's background's very thin. Well, if you wanted it to look like tapestry, then the weave of the linen could come through, you keep it thin. That would work, right? I'm not saying he did that, it's just a study. But it would also work to show the texture of the object. That's just for you in the future to understand that. All right. Fast forward, that doesn't make any difference. That's nothing special, everything's fine. All right, but then I looked at something. And as I started to look at this girl here, I noticed that Sargent had a blue color here, and then a warm gray, and then a light gray, and then a darker brown gray, and then a blue, and then a light blue, and they were all thin wash. Uh-oh, I already put paint down. I already put the wrong color down 8 times. That's not a good thing. Why does that matter? Does it really matter? No, it doesn't, okay? What happens is when you're sitting outside, and I just got a story from Zola Comincia della Locanda restaurant we loved in Italy. And he wrote about the troubles they're having reopening the restaurant and they're taking it to court. It's heartbreaking because it's spectacular. And my memories are, I know we went with a class and there'd be 30 to 88 people doing a plein air workshop. You know, so it was quite the group for a week or 2 weeks at a time. And it was really quite a lot of fun. And it's my favorite place on Lake Como. It is by far special. You have the Swiss Alps going straight up. You're in a lagoon underneath these trees, a canopy. It's just special. And I should have the memory of LaDan and all these friends of ours for all these years that were just having a great time painting outside. But the only picture I have in my head is my wife sitting with her feet up on the chair in front of her, just smiling, and the sun hitting her face, but in the shade, so it's like 79 degrees. And there's a beautiful, gentle warmth to it. And then these roses, these flowers are behind her head. It's one flower, but in my head, it might as well have been a bouquet, but it was only one. And it's just magical. And it's not magical as it was the most beautiful picture like Portofino. There's a unique softness to Jodette that's genuine and caring. We've been together 30 years. You know, every week she does something that I'm so impressed, that is so nice you did that for someone else. And she does it every week, and each week I'm shocked you did something so nice to someone. After 30 years, you'd get used to it. Maybe I'd even think doing it for myself, but I haven't. I'm just watching her. And this picture is a memory and a feeling. And in my head, it's the colors that I see. And it's how light and dark, the values and the relationships that I see. How do I get all of you who are all at a high level now? We talked about this morning. I can't say the person who climbed Mount Kilimanjaro is incredible anymore. She says it adds stress. But you're as good as they get, okay? I mean, sooner or later, I have to, I guess I just don't brag on you at all, right? Just say, oh, you're okay for you. There, is that better? For you, there's no expectation. So you get to this point How do I get you to look at a photograph that you're about to take and start to realize, what am I experiencing? We've had this talk 30 times. Okay, if the person speaking has given this talk 30 times, when does the person speaking actually listen to the person speaking? Because basically, why didn't I say, what is the figure ground relationship? How light is this? Which color is it? You don't think whether this is a warm gray or a cool gray, this affects the painting's message? You don't think if this has red in it next to that blue, that contrast won't affect the painting's message? When I want something to come forward, I put my color first, and then I gray it down to become flesh. And when I want it to recede, a lot of times I put the gray first, and then I add the color to make it look real. Well, if I edit gray first, I've already decided you're not looking here. Oh no, I haven't made that decision. That's just the background. I'll deal with that later. No, you put paint down. The minute you put paint down, you made that decision. That's not important. Oh, wait a minute. I haven't made that decision. Yes, you did. Now let's really go fast forward here. And I'm making this whole thing up, so don't go Googling it. Lady Agnew by Sargent, I know for a fact, is a super thin watercolor just like this wash, and we fanned it. Okay, and then he puts some thick strokes and they just jump off the page. All right, not a problem. Oh, it's dry. Not a problem. Okay, and it only has thick strokes in a few places. The rest of it's thin. What if you want to reserve that thick paint for a few key places and you put the wrong paint down and you got to fix it? What if putting the paint down once keeps it so beautiful and thin and transparent, but you put the wrong color down and you got to put a second coat over it, which means not once anymore? You know, there's a story in counseling that is told when someone is telling you something more than once and you've heard this before, it's because they don't believe you heard them. Okay, I'm not talking about you right now. I'm talking to me. I'm looking right at the camera. I'm talking to me. Are you listening? You know what? I now know why when I'm looking at the camera, it always looks like I'm looking to the right of the camera, because I'm looking at the monitor to see me, and that I'm not over there, I'm over here, and I have to look at the lens. That's so weird. I think I'm going to paint an eyeball on the hood so I know where to look. Okay, so this makes sense? So you and I did the same thing. Yes, and I didn't want MJ failing. So I was letting her stop until she heard this. So let's kind of group this sentence together. Sargent's teacher, Duran, said, if you leave something in the painting that's dispensable, you don't need it, it can be detrimental to the painting. Right? If you do something that you don't need, it's dispensable, it can be detrimental to the painting. Shouldn't I make that decision before I put gray down? Because I just made it ugly. I destroyed the color. Now, can you put bright color over it? Sure, but it'll never be as pretty as it could have been. So it dropped a notch. You may not see it, but if you make a chart, you could see it. If you put them right next to each other, you would see it.